This morning. The Glencoe Yellowjackets are up next. And, Coach, if you'd just and let the guys introduce themselves, or you introduce them, some opening comments about the Glencoe Yellowjackets this year.
Okay, I don't mind. I'll let the guys introduce themselves and tell you what position they play.
I'm Joe Coleman, right guard.
I'm Carter Cook, tight end.
Baylor Dunn, fullback, defensive lineman.
Aiden James, defensive end, tight end.
And so you already know real quick when these guys introduce themselves, these guys don't play much defense since they only introduce themselves as offensive players, and these guys play on both sides of the ball a little bit more because they play both sides. So, it's been a good summer. It's been a long off season. We had a good finish to the season last year, which gave us a little momentum going into this year. I feel like that, we're in the third year of our program this year, and I think that the one thing that as we go from year to year to year, I just think it takes time when you're rebuilding programs. And, even when I went back to Ohatchee, and, it took to about our third year before we started seeing a lot of fruits of our labor. That didn't mean we didn't work extremely hard in years 1 and 2. Matter of fact, we did work hard in years 1 and 2, which helps lead you to your third year. But I felt like it took us all the way to year 3 to finally get over that hurdle. And, I felt like we owed it to our senior classes the last 2 years to do the best job we could, give them every opportunity that we could to try to be successful. And in a lot of ways we were. Sometimes those weren't always on the field. We had that first year we were 2-8. There might have been a game or two we felt like we let get away. Last year we were 3-7, and there were more than a few that we felt like got away. And so it's getting over that hurdle and being able to win a game that, that nobody really thinks you're going to win, that kind of puts you over that hurdle. I know in 2016, obviously we had a great year at Ohatchee, but we were all the way into game 4 before I was standing on the sideline and said, we might be a pretty good football team. And sometimes it takes that. And, because these guys right here growing up at the high school level, we haven't had as much success as maybe that they want to have. And so we have worked toward putting ourselves in a position for them to have success this year. And I was really encouraged by the off-season work. I was really encouraged by the attitude. I was really encouraged and have been encouraged by the mentality. I'll just say this. It's gotten better every year, but it's a lot different this year. And we've got 12 seniors, and out of those 12 seniors, we just don't have one unselfish young man. And, we're blessed that these 12 guys are working together and leading our young guys.
Coach, could you talk about the numbers in your program? Are they where you want them to be at this point in time in your third season? And this being your third season, starters coming back offensively and defensively for the Yellowjackets this year.
I knew you'd ask me that. Starters, I'm not sure which ones. We'll go down the line and the ones I can think of, but they're like chess pieces. We keep moving people around to try to get the best fit, and sometimes guys might have started that they aren't going to start, and some guys are starting that maybe they didn't start. But numbers-wise, we're right about where I thought we would be. I mean, obviously, our reclassification number was very low. We went from 230 or whatever down to about 218, and so we have some smaller classes that we have to figure in, but I think we ended up with what I call upperclassmen, 28 guys in 10 through 12. We've got another 16 ninth graders with some of those that are going to contribute. So we're right at 44, so we're in that mid-40 range, which is about where we've been consistently. We're going to, as a smaller school, we did this when I was at Ohatchee. I know Welborn and them do this also. We're going to play, 7, 8, 9 games just because our numbers lend us to about 30 to 31, 7, 8, 9, and about, right around 30, taking a couple of those ninth graders, 10, 11, 12. So we feel like we've got good numbers for 2 solid football teams, and we're looking forward to doing that. Carter has started the last couple of years for us at tight end. He's going to be there. Joe has been at the tackle. I'm moving him to guard, but he's still going to be starting. Baylor's working some at fullback for us, but he'll be definitely starting on the defensive line. Aiden is going to work at our backside tight end and another defensive lineman. All these guys, I say these guys, these two guys could see significant playing time on both sides. These guys are more one way. If I could keep my linemen more one way, I'd like that. And so we're working at that. I think our depth numbers across the line are probably as good as they've ever been. So we've got a chance to be able to kind of two platoon those guys. The one thing that is kind of neat is, today I brought mostly linemen. I mean, these guys are tight ends, tackles, guards, et cetera. I think that's going to be the strength of our football team, is building it around that. Aaron Mann's not here today. I would have brought Aaron, but Aaron was ill. But Aaron obviously has rushed for over 1,000 yards for us last year, played in the backfield. He'll be back in the backfield again. But Jake Boggs and Hayden Hudson and Alex Hudson and Hayden Watson and Bronner McMurray and Lee Crowder, we've got a lot of guys that are going to help us in the backfield. So I'm excited about that. I feel like when we plug them in depth-wise, it's worked real well. Also, I'm looking at a couple other seniors and Dawson Roach and Preston Reeves and JT Hancock. Those guys are going to help us across the offensive line also. Junior will be Kevin Rodriguez at the offensive center. Quarterback, we've got a bunch of them there, but Aiden Johnson's probably leading the way right now. He's able to do what we ask him to do and does a good job at that. On the defensive side, again, these two guys are playing defensive tackles inside. McMurray and Watson are on the outside. Inside at linebacker, we've got Gomez and Clemens, but we're working a multitude of guys there. We even have a few freshmen that are helping us there. At the outside linebacker, we've got Hudson working there, and then I'm not sure who's working on the other side. Again, my focus when I'm over there watching, making sure they're all going in the right spots. But again, Aiden and them are helping us back in the secondary. Connor Montgomery's another senior that's helping us in the secondary and does all our kicking and punting. Crowder's helping us again at cornerback. So we've got, I think when we did the two-way the other day, we've got 3 or 4 guys that are going to have to help us two-way, we think, that, right off the top. So, we're trying to keep that as many one-way guys as possible, especially with the heat and the depth part.
This is for the players. Coach and I were talking a few weeks ago about kind of planting the seeds, and some grow faster than others. But, you guys have worked your butts off the last couple of years and put a lot of hard work in. And you're saying that, this is a year that, really he expects to see some of those seeds blossoming and some growth and a sense of excitement to it. Do y'all 4 feel the same way, that there really might be something different this year and might be something special, and you can the goals that you have that you set are within sight for the season, starting with Joe?
Absolutely. I believe that we do have something special going on this year. Absolutely.
I agree too. Just the way everybody comes in on workout days, everybody's locked in and focused on getting better. I think we do have a chance to do something special.
Our strength has improved a lot. Our speed, our discipline, our mentality. Everybody's had a tough upbringing, but it's gotten a lot better. It's improved, and I'm proud of everybody.
Same with what he said. The mentality has improved a lot over, especially this year, and I can tell with how we've been working out and the off season, how we've all been training, and especially I'm just really proud of the young guys and how well they've done. I think this is the best they've been since I've started.
And I'm gonna say, Coach Terry's done a great job in the weight room there, but the other coaches have too. The work ethic in the weight room in the off season has been the best so far.
Coach, you had Welborn, Weaver, and Sachs back in the region. Seems like you coaches just have been together forever. And you're at Glencoe now, Steve at Westbrook, Miller at Piedmont. But just break down this region, which is arguably, I mean, 9, you got Locust Fork and JV Pennington as well. They're outside teams. Just kind of break it down for us.
Well, I mean, you know, the 3 teams that were on the mountain went back up to the mountain, and they brought in 4 more teams that are all quality football teams. Pennington's going to be a well-coached football team always, and they always have been from when Coach Cassidy was there, and now they've moved on, but they're always going to be a well-coached, disciplined football team. Locust Fork probably has the best team that they've had in years. They had a great team last year, and a lot of those guys are coming back with the exception of very few. So they've got a lot of guys coming back. Sachs and Welborn, I mean, they're old hands. They've been there a long time. Things don't change. I mean, when you learn how to win, you learn how to win, and those guys are going to be there. And then, of course, when you start back down Weaver and Piedmont and us, and you get over there with Westbrook and Ohatchee, I mean, all those are used to beating on each other. The one thing that's always been common in this region is that there's never an off week. You know, and then you go to a 9-team region where now you got 8 region games instead of 7. So it's just made it that much tougher because, you know, when you have a 7-team region, you know, there's only 3 teams that aren't going to the playoffs. But when you have a 9-team region, there's 5 teams that aren't going to the playoffs. So it makes it much more difficult to qualify to get in the playoffs because of a 9-team region. But so the 4 teams that come out of this thing are going to be quality football teams, and they all are already, but you're going to have 4 teams, again, that could make a long run in 3A like they have in the past. The thing that is I think is going to be evident is I don't think you're going to see a bunch of teams go through with just, they just had 1 loss or 2 losses. You could have some teams in the playoffs that are right there with 3 or 4 losses in the region. You could get a lot of people beating each other.
This is for the players. Coach Martin is always a positive guy. He reads constantly. He's always thinking outside the box. He's always a positive human being to be around. What's it like playing under him, you know, being around him each and every day and him kind of mentoring you, not just on the field but in life, to have a guy like that that's such a positive influence?
Man, he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. Probably my favorite coach ever. I mean, this
You're
guy.
starting. You don't have to say that.
Hey, I'm being honest. He's probably one of the most motivational coaches I've ever had, ever. And, I mean, I can't think of anything else that can describe it.
Just going off what he said, he's been a great coach. My family's close to him. He coached my cousin at Ohatchee. Just a great person to be around. He's always positive. He's always pushed us to be the best we can do. Just a great coach and a great guy.
He's definitely been one of the greatest in a long time. He's been a very good father figure to a lot of us, especially me. He's very upbringing, uplifting, and he helps us a lot. He pushes us, and our discipline is a lot better because of him. And I just appreciate everything he's done for us.
I appreciate how much time he spent on us and how he sees the vision that he has for us. And I also appreciate just the confidence that he's given me more as a player and then also just as a person as well.
Coach, sitting here listening to those guys, I was going to ask you the question. This is either 31, 32, 33. You've been doing it a long time, but that's why you keep doing it, right?
That's why you do it. You know, wins and losses, I mean, it's not always about that. I mean, I understand that's what helps keep your job. I do. I mean, I'm not stupid. This is actually year 40. All right, it's year 39 in high school. I coached 1 year as a GA in college right after I finished playing, and then this is my 39th year in high school. This will be my 32nd year as a head football coach. You know, it's kind of one of those mic drop moments. You know, after they say those kind of things, it's almost embarrassing because, you know, all you want to do is be a good mentor and a good role model for those guys. You want to be there for them to talk about anything, and it doesn't always have to be about football. I mean, I probably stay on Aiden more than anybody on our football team, but it's always in a very funny, uplifting way. He knows, you know, that I'm kidding him at a lot of times, but the bottom line is to have those relationships with these guys that are like my sons. You know, I have 2 sons. One is let's see, he just turned 36, and he's a Marine gunny sergeant, so he's a lot tougher than I am. But I have another one that's just laid back. He's a manager at the Waffle House out in Phoenix, and but the one thing is I want these guys to kind of have the mentality of that they're like our sons, that they can come to you in any time for anything, and it doesn't have to be football. You know, they still walk around on eggshells sometimes, and I don't know why, because I don't always try to portray that. But, you know, they're a great bunch of guys. Not only these 4, but the 12 seniors we've got. And I say this all the time. Football is not a sport for everybody. But as a coach, I always tell the guys that don't even play football, look, if you don't play football because it's not for everybody, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to talk to you in the hallway. I'm still going to ask you this question, that question, this question, but it has nothing to do with football. You know, and that's kind of how I like to be with these guys. When we're off the field, I want it to be everything but football. But when we're on the field, it's football and not anything else. So they've done a good job of compartmentalizing it, and they're going to be a good football team. And they're going to be somebody that people can be proud of. And just because not only are they good football players and they're going to have a good football season, but they're good young people. They're all of them. I don't have a daughter, but if I had a daughter, they could date everybody here except Aiden. All right? but if I had one, they could. You know, I'm kidding, Aiden. But no, it's just a pleasure to coach these guys.
Coach, we appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming today. We wish you the best of luck this year.
I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.